Today, we're looking for video games. We're getting out of our whips. We're ghostwriting them. We're doing the Swabbage Patch with Mac Dre in the Bay. We're getting hyphy. We're rolling. We're going dumb. We're putting our stunner shades on. And this is because we're in the Bay. There aren't that many video game stores in San Francisco. Actually, all the video game stores in San Francisco are GameStops. So that's why we've got to travel around the Bay and see what's going on. This first store is located behind a record store, and I think they're owned by the same person. I like the name of these stores, The Record Man and Planet Mix. Mike GoPilot in game shopping today is going to be my son, and he's told me we should get more N64, Dad. Now, I'm not going to lie, the store is sorely lacking when it comes to inventory, but they were nice to my kid, gave him a little toy for free. That earns him points. This is really the type of store you'd go to if you're really into vinyls and records and movies, and then you happen to like video games. God bless Janet Jackson. Overall, the store was a little musty and disorganized, but you know, if you're into that type of thing, which I personally am, you'll be right at home. If you're down to dig, you might find a gem. Otherwise, it might not be your store. Hey, how are you doing? I am a big fan of the Bay Area, and if you've never been, that's okay, because today we're going to go around the Bay Area looking mainly for video games, because I like to showcase video game stores. Now, the point of this show and the point of this series is to go to about 100 video game stores. The name of the show is Flip and Dip. Now it's time to head down to the meat and potatoes of video game shopping in the Bay, San Jose. Sometimes I'm an incredibly boring person. When I got here, it was called Game and T-Shirt, but on my phone, it was called Game World. The first thing I could think was, this is really just going to mess up their SEO, which is something nobody would care about. One thing you might care about is this place was stocked to the gills with a whole bunch of video games. I'm so bothered that I'm just seeing that handy boy now. To be honest though, that's the general theme of this place. It was so packed with things, you would just find things here, there, everywhere. I'm gonna put this one back. I finished my Wii U collection recently, but this is a variant I needed. I left it here because it's $150, but that's about the right price for it. I need the disc of this game because mine is kaput. Ooh, and a sneaky second copy. In the Google reviews, it said they had a pretty good N64 collection, and I can confirm they do. Both American and Japanese titles, all reasonably priced. The owner cut me some deals, they even let me try out the games first, and they all worked. I didn't even go into the and shirts part of the store. They have hundreds of vintage shirts, I just didn't look at them. Totally worth going to, a surprising hole-in-the-wall type place. You should go. So after that, my kid was getting a little hungry, and I start to feel guilty when I feed my kid too much fast food or junk food when we're traveling especially. So I decided, hey, you know what? He wants a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Let's see where we can get one. And this is how I randomly ended up here. For some reason, going to a Walmart is my #1 video of all time. And for another reason, this one had the Oscar Mayer Weenie-mobile and a flamethrower. San Jose? More like San Andreas. By the way, for stopping by, they gave us an Oscar Mayer Weenie whistle, which is pretty cool. I've never gotten a Weenie whistle before. The last video I made about Walmart was about a Walmart closing, but for some reason this Walmart is opening. This is a grand opening, and we're just one day early. This is just one of the nicest Walmarts I've ever been in. Their video game selection is pretty standard fare, nothing to write home about. I really don't mean to talk about this all day, but they also had very nice displays. Just everything in this Walmart for some reason was just slightly better than average. They also sold Reebok here, but no Reebok shoes, which I found interesting. We came in, we got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, then we noticed McDonald's. But don't worry, we didn't get McDonald's today. Several people told me that the next store was one of the best stores, if not the best store in the Bay Area. I didn't get that much time there, but from what I saw, I liked what I saw. Let's get into it. The next place we're going is a video game store that is downstairs. I can't remember the last time I paid for a meter with quarters, but I had a ton of quarters left over from an arcade, so there we go. The name of the store is Game Shop Downstairs. You go through a normal PC repair shop, and then you go downstairs, and down these stairs is a gigantic video game store. The selection was unusual and rare. Japanese imports, things you don't really see that often, rare Nintendo finds, the whole framework of things you want to find in a video game store as a mega collector. The non-special edition VHS VHS version of Star Wars? Sure, why not? Sealed copies of Twilight Princess on Wii U? They got you. A life-size Power Ranger that my kid really wanted to hug? Yeah. They had a decent PC Engine collection, so I picked some up. And every single time I see a 3DO, I really want one. I just need to get one at some point. I'm also looking for some N64, and I don't have Xena, so I'm just gonna pick this one up. By the way, I'm just throwing this out there. Being in this store with all these imports really made me want to go back to Japan again. I'm at like 50% I'm gonna go to Japan soon. I don't like to use the word hidden gem, but I really think this place is a honey hole. This is the video game store that collectors in the Bay don't want you to know about. I'm gonna be dead honest. When I was looking at images of this place on Google, it was so clean and pristine that I just assumed that this was one of those, cell phone shop type stores because it was just too nice. Well, hey there, Devil's Third. This place had stacks and stacks and stacks of quality stuff. The thumb was a little bit on the scale for these prices, but I can forgive them because it wasn't that crazy. It was like maybe 10 to 20% above price charting. The selection was just fantastic and immaculate. If you're at all familiar with secondhand sneaker shops, this place would be comparable to like a Stadium Goods. Now this store is related to another store in the area called Retro Rewind. That store has more normal tier games. This store has more like S-class video games. Do I need every single N-Gage game that ever came out? No. But they have them here. By the way, if you're in the market for an analog duo and you have doubts, look at the resale price of a TurboGrafx Mini. Another thing to note is that the service at this place was really, really, really good. There's this fella there that I didn't get the name of, but he was very, very nice. Quiet guy. Whoever is this guy's boss should give this guy a raise. Just saying. Super nice and super nice to my kid. They also had this Game Gear case that I had as a kid, but it was in perfect condition, still in box, and he was more than willing to unbox it for me. This is just another reason why I'd say this store is amazing. It's like not a store where you might get a bunch of deals, but it's definitely a store that you might find some very, very rare things that you're actually allowed to buy because they're not just one big museum. Go here if you're at all interested in, seeing and finding some really cool stuff. I'm going to be honest, I was kind of running out of time when it comes to stores that I could go to because, I've only got so much time in a day. But I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to try to hit this store. If I can get there, I can. And I'm going to just take a little time to see what's going on here. Mainly because it's like the sister store to the previous store. And I said, if this sister store was pretty good, this next store has to be at least decent, Down the street was Retro Rewind. The people there were super duper nice. They were super nice to my kid. They let him watch Lego Star Wars because nobody was playing anything on the TV. But we're not here to rate customer service. We're here to rate a video game store. They had an eclectic mix of basics and things that I don't see anywhere. This is the type of game store you go to if you're just looking for some games to play, or you're looking to fill out your collection with some of the less rare titles. If I were to put this in terms of clothing stores, some people shop at Banana Republic, some people shop at Old Navy, and some people shop at both depending on the occasion. I got super excited by their TurboGrafx stuff, especially because I saw the prices on them, but unfortunately those were really, really old prices. I actually appreciate that they left the prices on there because it shows a history of the game. This place strikes me as a real locals store. If you dig a little bit, you can find a good deal or something a little bit rare, but I ended up picking up a copy of California Speed just because I'm in California, but yeah, worth going to. Now this is the only store in the bunch that I've actually been to before. The last time I went, I had a great time. I didn't film because it was before I was filming all the video game stores I go to, but what I can say about it is you can tell that there is a deep sense of community that emanates from this store. This next store I'm going to with my brother and my son. It also happens to be the only store that I've actually been to so far. The experience share is in Alameda. Right off the bat, if you see hand-painted video game art, you know you've got something special. First thing I took a look at was their GameCube selection, and while I almost knocked over the Star Fox Adventures, I noticed it was like a Kmart exclusive version, which is really neat. They had a bunch of stuff here that was both limited run and just stuff that was made in limited print runs by other small publishers, which was super duper cool. I had just picked up this particular game, but if I hadn't, I would have picked this up here. I recently had a buddy of mine replace the screen of my brother's old Game Gear, so we were looking for Game Gear games while we were here. I was having decent luck finding PC Engine and TurboGrafx game on this trip, and this particular store had quite a few of the games I was looking for, so I picked up a few. The people at this store were very, very nice. I ended up chatting with them for a very long time, and they were just charming. If you have a chance, you should check out their YouTube channel. They have a very, like, we're making this for us vibe. A really cool import they had was this Christmas Nights game. I picked this up because, you know, it's the season. I think the thing that I liked about this store in particular was their taste. I have a very particular taste when it comes to video games, and they just happen to overlap a lot with my particular tastes. If you want to see other things I did in San Francisco, I've made a bunch of shorts about it, but this next place I want to just kind of queue up because I made a ton of shorts about it because it was a really, really interesting place. It's an arcade, but it's not a game store, and I hope you like it. This last place we went was actually not a video game store, but it was an arcade. Musée Mécanique. It's near San Francisco. It's actually in San Francisco near Fisherman's Wharf. It's free to go in. All you have to do is get quarters, which is the way you pay for the games here. It's really, really interesting. All of the games in here are like 1930s types games, and there are modern games. There's games from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and then like table hockey, that sort of thing. But it's a very, very complete and interesting arcade experience. Me and my son ended up spending like, 2 or 3 hours in here, and it only cost us like $20, and he was like thoroughly entertained. I definitely recommend going in here if you're in the area. I don't know why, but I just think the Bay is somewhere that I will inevitably end up. I just really like it, and I always enjoy going there. It was a ton of fun, and there's like probably 5 or 6 stores I didn't even get to go to just because I was so rushed for time. Let me know in the comments what your favorite store was, and if you have any stores that you think I should visit anywhere in the US, anywhere in the world, let me know. I'll go at some point. Follow up, if you saw this and you liked it, there's going to be a bunch of shorts about San Francisco coming out just to, cover the things that I couldn't cover in here. If you liked it, give me a like, give me a subscribe, do whatever. And you know what? You have a lovely day. Peace.